Welcome to America Reads Fun Learning Activities. We are college students who create learning activities for kids. Our fun activities are focused on reading, writing, and math. Thank you so much for joining us to learn today. Today's video is about different properties of operations. There are three main properties we are looking at in this video. There are Associative Property, Commutative Property, and Distributive Property. The Associative Property says that you can add or multiply regardless of how the numbers are grouped in the problem and still get the right answer. The Commutative Property says you can add or multiply regardless of what order the numbers are in the problem and still get the right answer. Distributive Property says that multiplying the sum of two numbers by a third number is the same as multiplying each addend by that number and getting the sum of the products. In Associative Property and Distributive Property, we use parentheses. Parentheses are used to show what should happen first in a problem. First, we are going to go through a few problems focused on the Associative Property. I like to think of this property as what numbers associate with other numbers, meaning what numbers are in the parentheses. The first problem to solve is 3 times 6 times 2. By rewriting it using the Associative Property. We can rewrite this three different ways. The first way we can rewrite it is in parentheses 3 times 6 and then outside of the parentheses times 2. Then to solve it we do 3 times 6 equals 18 and then 18 times 2. This equals 36. The second way we can rewrite it is in parentheses 6 times 2 and then outside the parentheses times 3. Then to solve it, we do 6 times 2 equals 12 and then 12 times 3. This equals 36. The third way to rewrite it would be 2 times 3 in the parentheses and then outside the parentheses times 6. Then to solve this, we do 2 times 3 equals 6 and then 6 times 6. This also equals 36, just like the other two. The second problem is to solve 4 times 5 times 2 by rewriting it and using the Associative Property. We can rewrite this three different ways. The first way to rewrite this is in the parentheses 4 times 5, outside the parentheses times 2. To solve this, we do 4 times 5 equals 20, and then 20 times 2. This equals 40. The second way is to write in the parentheses 4 times 2, outside the parentheses times 5. To solve this, we do 4 times 2 equals 8, and then 8 times 5. That equals 40. The third way to rewrite the problem is in parentheses 2 times 5 and then outside the parentheses times 4. To solve this, we do 2 times 5 equals 10 and then 10 times 4. That equals 40, just like the other two. Why don't you guys try to answer this one on your own? Rewrite and solve 2 times 3 times 4. Now let's see how you did. The three answers would be in the parentheses 2 times 3 outside the parentheses times 4 equals 24, and then in the parentheses 2 times 4 outside the parentheses times 3 equals 24, and the last one is in the parentheses 3 times 4 outside the parentheses times 2 equals 24. Now let's do some commutative property practice. I like to think of this property as the numbers communicating with the other numbers to move around each other. Our first problem is solve and rewrite 3 times 4 using the commutative property. First, we can solve 3 times 4. It equals 12. Written this way, there are 3 groups of 4. Then we can rewrite 3 times 4 into 4 times 3. When we solve 4 times 3, it will still equal 12. Written this way, there are 4 groups of 3. Both times they equal the same thing. All we did was flip the equation, or change what number comes first. Our next problem is solve and rewrite 2 plus 3 plus 7. The commutative property can be used for addition and multiplication. First, we can solve 2 plus 3 plus 7. It equals 12. Then, we can rewrite it into 3 plus 7 plus 2. This will also still equal 12. Then we can rewrite it as 7 plus 2 plus 3. This will equal 12 as well. No matter what order the numbers are in, they all equal 12 every time. Try these two problems on your own. 10 plus 20 and 5 times 6 times 2. Let's see how you did. 10 plus 20 equals 30, and so does 20 plus 10. And then 2 times 5 times 6 equals 60, and so does 5 times 6 times 2, and 2 times 5 times 6. Now let's try some distributive property questions. Distributive sounds like distribution, which means to share, like you would if you had 3 cookies and 2 friends to give one to. The first question is to rewrite 2 times, and then in parentheses, 6 plus 3, using the distributive property. We distribute the 2 to the 6 and then the 3. We do this by multiplying 2 by 6 and then adding it to 2 times 3. We write it like this, in parentheses, 2 times 6, outside the parentheses, plus sign, and then in parentheses, 2 times 3. If we want to solve this, we can multiply 2 by 6 and it equals 12. Then we multiply 2 by 3 and get 6. Then we add 12 and 6 and the answer is 18. The second problem is to rewrite, in parentheses, 3 times 10, outside the parentheses, plus sign, in parentheses, 3 times 2, using the distributive property. We would do this by using the distributive property backwards. Since 3 is the beginning of both parentheses, we know that has to be the number outside of the parentheses. It has to be 3 times the other 2 numbers added within the parentheses. It looks like 3 times and then in parentheses 10 plus 2. To solve this, we can add 2 and 10 to equal 12. Then we multiply 12 by 3 to equal 36. Try this one on your own. 5 times and then in parentheses 4 plus 7. Let's see how you did. The answer is, in parentheses, 5 times 4, and then outside the parentheses a plus sign, and then in the parentheses 5 times 7. Now let's do an end of the video recap. The associative property says that you can add or multiply regardless of how the numbers are grouped in the problem and still get the right answer. The commutative property says you can add or multiply regardless of what order the numbers are in the problem and still get the right answer. Distributive property says that multiplying the sum of 2 numbers by a third number is the same as multiplying each addend by that number and getting the sum of the products. All of these properties are used to figure out multiplication and addition problems. These properties are used to introduce students to other properties and number rules like PEMDAS. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me and learning with me today. I hope you come back and learn some more. Please comment if you have any questions, like and subscribe to our channel, and I will be back soon with more videos.